Now I'll go through several policy points. The first policy point is social benefit. One of the things that the companies promise is we're going to have all these great societal benefits. We're going to help the disabled. We're going to make sure that food deserts get service, and we're going to have equitable transportation and all these things. And if those come to pass, those are great. But right now, we're not there yet. The benefits only accrue after the AVs are both safe and reliable. And we're going to need more than 100 million miles to confirm reduced fatalities. So the question is not a billion miles from now, how will things look? That's the great far future. It's going to be years before we get there. The question right now is, what's the societal benefit look like while we're trying to get there? And in particular, in the near term, safe might mean lower reliability. We're seeing many, many incidents of robotaxis stalling and clogging up streets and even impeding emergency responders. And the reason given is, well, it was not safe to proceed, so we shut down in the name of safety. Well, that's well and good as far as it goes. But there are consequences for shutting down the road, especially if it's for 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes rather than 30 seconds. And so those kind of consequences, those negative externalities, have to be taken into account when you look at near-term societal benefit. So if you're going to give permission for these things to run, ask the hard questions. What will the benefits be right now? You can be promised benefits disabled, but what if they deploy with no wheelchair access? They can promise they're already saving lives, but there's no data to actually support that. That is their best estimate or their best guess, but when you have 1 million miles and the fatality rates are more than 100 million miles, you don't actually know how it's going to turn out. And they often promise unprofitable thing without a regulation. So, for example, we're going to make sure we have wheelchair access, but we don't have it now. Trust us, it will come later. Well, unless there's a regulation requiring them to provide that, how do you know it's actually going to happen? So there are a lot of promises up front, but without a commitment to make them happen long term, we don't know how that will turn out. Moreover, the companies are asking us to put up with a lot of negative consequences for benefits that are out in the future. What about the benefits now? Those aren't as substantial. The other thing to ask is, what are the public costs and where they're going to be right now? You may have congestion, you may have blocked emergency responders, you may have potential harm from still underdeveloped software operating on public roads. There are going to be some costs, but you cannot simply assume the benefits will automatically accrue, and you cannot simply assume that everything will be perfectly safe because we're seeing otherwise play out on public roads.